Well, someone who knew Diego Maradona well was Jon Smith, who was his agent between 1986 and 1991, joining us live now. Firstly, our condolences. And I must ask, you became his agent in 1986, of course, the year when Diego Maradona won the World Cup with Argentina. How do you become his agent, and just what was he like? Give us a flavour of him.
I became his agent because I was friendly with Osvaldo Ardiles, who was playing at Tottenham Hotspur at the time. And I was having tea one afternoon with Ozzy, and Diego phoned him. And there'd been some issues and bits and pieces going on in his life that he felt he needed a friend to help him with, and Ozzy was his respected and dear friend. And during the course of the conversation, Osvaldo said to me, I need to help Diego, will you help me? And had I not have been there for tea, and actually that meeting with Osvaldo got cancelled twice. So had I gone the first two times, I would have missed the call. So it was pure fate. And we worked with him for 4 years. And he was unique. He was absolutely unique. I mean, he was, if anything, he was two people. He was lovely Diego, when you got him on his own, the little boy who still respected and somehow never left the slums of Buenos Aires. He was very caring and very worried about the unfortunates in this in his country and around Italy when he went there. But then when he crossed the line, the white line, and went on the pitch, he was Maradona, and that was the star. And he felt he had a divinity which was given him by the talent that God gave him, and he wanted to win. He wanted to be the very best. I think he probably was.
And when you touch upon that element of someone who is two people, you hear about that so much, especially with that the World Cup game where you've got the hand of God goal and then the goal of the century, all in such close proximity. How do you help Diego Maradona? How do you help someone like that?
It's not easy, Kasia, because he was lovely, and I keep saying this. He was very engaging, and he was surrounded by people, and he found it very difficult to say no. So there was always a melee around him. It was nearly a circus, in fact. And so for us, trying to create commercial transactions and manage a situation, and I wasn't his daily manager, but we were there with him as part of, I guess, what you'd call it today, Team Maradona. It was very difficult, and there were times when you said something, or we said something, and somebody else would say something, and three other people would say something else, and you could just see his head trying to figure out what he should do, and it was complicated. But I have to say, it was a privilege as well, a privilege to be in that exalted company.
And Jon, we're seeing the outpouring of grief in Argentina, also in Naples as well. Everybody wants to share their emotions about him. He had that all the time, didn't he? He was just always surrounded. How does one cope like that? How did he?
He coped well until he achieved everything. And I was fortunate to be with him during some of the high moments in his life. When he'd achieved just about everything, it's a bit like they call people, or some people that do so well, flawed geniuses. I've been very fortunate to work with a few people that I consider geniuses, and they're all flawed. I think that's probably why they're so clever. But they're completely incentivized to achieve the talent that God gave them. And when he'd achieved that, he was then sadly under the influence of people who wanted to take him on a different journey. And in the end, as you know, he ended up in some very dark places. But in fairness to him, he shone a very, very bright light on the world of sport.
And let's remember him like that, Jon Smith, the agent of Diego Maradona. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.